It's more than just your output, more than a bike. When you hear your shout out, you know it's all right. Put on your magic pants and let's go. We're cruising into the power zone. Clip in, set yourself free. Come on and take a ride with me. We know what you need to know and what's it all about. Everything you need, it's on the clip out.
Welcome to the Clip Out Podcast, episode 370. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And this is Tom O'Keefe.
Hello.
Hello. I made it through my play.
Well, you've made it through one weekend of performances.
Okay, but like, I made it through my play.
You did make it through your play. You guys did good. You know, I know that this has not been your favorite experience, but I felt like after reading that play as many times as I have.
Yes.
It could have been an absolute train wreck, and it wasn't.
If you'd have seen it 3 days before we did it in front of people.
But honestly, there was humor in it. It is funny, and you guys are playing it funny. Like
yeah.
You are. It's working the way you're doing it, and so I think you guys all did a great job.
Well, thank you. I was not fishing. I was more just happy that like I made it through and remembered all my lines.
All of your lines.
I mean, I feel like I got locked in on those lines like 36 hours before the first performance. Like I've never
been that close.
But
you did it.
I did. And
that's all that matters.
And we got to do it again this weekend. But every day I've been going over the lines just once, just going through, you know.
I tell you, I don't miss it. I don't miss rehearsing with you.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
It's also nice to have an actual evening this week.
Yeah, because that week leading in, it was like every night. Starting with that Sunday, it was every night until like 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you decide to go back into acting, something's going to have to give. We cannot do everything we're doing right now.
Well, I also think if I were to do another one, it wouldn't be as compressed of a time frame.
I don't care. There's too much. You're gone too much.
Yeah.
There's too much to do. It's too much.
That's true. It is a lot.
Yeah.
It would have to be like a play I was really interested in. But even then, I'd have to get cast in a part that I really cared about. Like, so it's like there's a lot of...
and you have to go try out.
Yeah. So like, probably not. And there's so many people that do it all the time that it's like, hey, I'm a guy you've never seen before. Give me the lead in The Odd Couple. Like, that's not going to happen. So
I don't know. You got the blade in this one. You never know.
By default, because they had literally no one else to do it.
Well,
so.
they were very pleased that you stepped in and that it all worked out.
Yeah. So, what, pray tell, do you have in store for people this week?
Well, we are going to have an interview with Kim Griffin. Now, she is a runner, but she's added biking and lots of strength to her journey.
And lots of foam rolling.
Lots of foam rolling. We're going to talk about that. And we're also going to talk a ton about Disney running specifically. So if you've ever wondered about Disney marathons, this is definitely the interview for you. Sure.
We just booked a Disney trip today.
Yeah, we did.
For next year.
I forgot that you did that. It's been so quick today.
Yes.
Also, we're going to talk about the Swifties. Coming for Robin, coming hard.
Yes, they are.
We're going to talk about the crazy tech issues. I mean, just a few tech issues that Peloton has been having. We're not going to cover all of them because that would be a whole additional podcast that we would need. We're also going to talk about lots of other stuff going on with lawsuits. We've got some quick hits we're going to talk about. We're going to have a visit from Dr. Jenn talking about not using your Peloton during the summer. What?
How do you deal with the guilt?
Exactly.
It's staring at you longingly as you walk past it, averting your eyes.
Yes, exactly. Also, lots of instructor news. We've got another marriage that we have to celebrate. We have a new artist series to talk about.
Ours is the only marriage I will celebrate.
And also competitor news as well. Not to mention some, in case you missed it, stuff.
Okay, well, before we get to all that, shameless plugs, don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, TuneIn, wherever you find a podcast. You can find us while you're there. Be sure and follow us so you never miss an episode. Maybe leave us a review. That's super helpful.
It is.
We are grateful when you do that.
Yeah.
You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/theclipout. While you're there, like the page and join the group. The group's going to push that stuff into your feed more often so you don't miss things. So like that's probably something you want to do.
Yeah.
You can follow Crystal on Instagram at
ClipOutCrystal.
Yeah. You can find us on Patreon, patreon.com/theclipout. It's $5 a month. You get ad-free episodes. If we get them early, you get them early. And we record an extra 15, 20, 25 minutes, depending on how busy of a week it is, of extra content.
It's going to be a long one this week.
Okay. Of just stuff we didn't get to. Like this week, we will be talking about Kendall throwing shade at Peloton.
Yeah, we're going to get into it.
Yeah.
So, if you haven't been on the bonus and you're like, oh, what's that about? Yeah, come on over.
Yeah,
Take
come
a
on over.
listen.
Water's fine. It's just $5.
Yeah.
That's less than the price of a cup of coffee.
Yeah, it is.
So, and it's just a great way to support the show. That is also greatly appreciated. So,
and it supports all those articles that we write.
yes, lots of articles that you see us pumping out. So you can watch these on YouTube at youtube.com/theclipout. And you can also sign up for our newsletter, which I am just now remembering I did not send out this week.
Whoopsies.
At theclipout.com. It was a little busy this weekend.
It was.
Yeah. So normally that goes out weekly. So anyway, there's all that. Let's dig in, shall we?
We shall.
Peloton in the news.
Before we start the first story, we forgot to do our bingo call out.
We did. So, bingo number 1 this week, Selena Samuela.
There we go.
So,
Okay.
One more week.
One more week.
That'll be it.
Okay. So the Swifties are coming for Robin Arzon. They have set their sights
Oof.
on Robin.
Yeah. Well,
Some
people like to stir shit.
Yeah.
And there was a video going around that did a montage of all of the times that Robin missed the words.
Gotcha.
Now, I will say, I did think that there were a high number of times that she was just flat out mumbling the words. I will also say that I thought it was a very fair point that all the people who got to go to that class loved it and had no problem with her not knowing. Like they didn't hear it that way.
Yeah.
And I think there's also a difference between like being spread out and hearing it back to back to back in a video. That's like, I mean, if you took every that I say in this podcast and just did a montage of that,
right,
it would sound a lot worse than it does
in normal speech.
Yes.
For sure.
And so,
like I've already said for sure twice.
Exactly.
3 times if you count the time I just mentioned the times I've said for sure. Now it's 4.
For sure.
What? It's my crutch. You can't steal it.
Oh, so that's mine. I think both of those are fair points.
Yeah.
But
I will also say the album's fairly new.
It is pretty darn new.
Robin Arzon is a busy lady.
She is. I mean, she's vice president at Peloton. She has like 17,000 partnerships. She has 2 children and all of the things she does outside of Peloton.
Every night she's in her garage manufacturing NFTs. She's busy.
We don't talk about the NFTs anymore.
She's busy.
Those do not exist.
Yeah.
But
NFT stands for not fucking talking about it.
Yeah.
But for real, like she's not sitting in her bedroom reading the liner notes and listening to you know what I mean?
She does not consume music in the way that a traditional Swiftie might, where they're poring over the lyrics as they listen on Spotify over and over over again.
I'm not trying to age shame Robin Arzon, but spoiler alert, she's not 14.
Yeah. And neither are these women and men coming for her.
Yeah.
They're also not 14, but you wouldn't know it from the comments. Like, literally, it calls her arrogant in the video, that when you are arrogant enough to teach a class even though you don't know the words. That was one of.
So is the metric now that an instructor is supposed to know the words to every song that plays in their class? Like that's
so their part of the argument is, then don't sing it. Shut your mouth. Just talk.
I get that.
I think that's a fair point.
I get that.
I think that is a fair point.
It also just seems like of all the things to get outraged about,
Well-
and then to make a video is kind of like, what a fucking douche.
And then other people have said things like, can we purge this class right now? Like, because there's always the big purge, don't purge things. Well, they're like, let's just purge it now. And then
Yeah.
you have the people who went to that class that are like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Don't purge my class. That was a special moment
And
for
the
me.
people who just like Taylor Swift and want
Yeah.
to take the class.
Yeah. Now, full reference, I have not taken the class as a class. I haven't taken a bike class and I don't even know at this point. It's been
Very
a long.
focused on the running.
I am. I'm trying to stay focused on marathon training, but I have taken the other classes that fit within that. So like Susie had a walk that I did as a run. I mean, I didn't walk, but I still put it in my little rotation for
Right.
outdoor.
Yeah.
And then Olivia had a run and I did that one as well. And I will say neither of them sang anything.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't sing at all. It's a tough line to walk. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of people for years have gotten on Jen Sherman about singing.
Right.
Years. And yes, Jen Sherman does know the lyrics, so it's a different argument.
Yeah.
But they still want her to shut the fuck up.
That is
There
true.
are so many people that have said, please stop talking, because she talks and she does shout outs over people's favorite songs. But that's Jen.
Right.
Don't take a class with her.
Yeah.
And I think in this particular...
I like Gallagher. I just don't want all the watermelons.
But in this particular case, just don't take the class. There's so many other Taylor Swift classes,
Yeah.
and they're the same songs, guys. They're the same songs. Like, they might play them in a separate order, and maybe not every single class has every single song because
Sure.
there's like 40 to choose from.
Right.
But you could still get a lot of enjoyment out of the other classes.
Right.
So I don't get it. I don't understand what people are like. The level of outrage
Yeah.
is next level.
Yeah.
You know, and all the people came for her again about talking about how she's a lawyer. I mean, listen, Robin is not my favorite person to take a class with. She's just not. But then I just don't take the classes.
right there, you have 50.
8. Well, 57
minus
now.
3
Okay.
other
You're right.
instructors.
55. We are at 55 currently. You're
or
right.
54 because of Tobias.
Oh, Tobias. Yeah, we're at 54. Good call. So there's
I'm
lots
kind of a Peloton expert.
You have lots of choices, though.
For sure.
But like, even if you hate
There's
it,
another one.
and even if you can't stand it, why do you take the time? There is so much in this world to be outraged. We are an election year,
Yeah.
guys. Like, there is so much to be outraged.
So much.
I don't care where you stand on any issues. There's
I care,
plenty.
but there's a lot.
But it doesn't matter
Yeah.
because either side has so much to be outraged about.
For sure.
And that is my point. That
Yeah.
like, really, we're arguing about a Peloton instructor singing?
I think it's funny when the Swifties get so defensive over Taylor Swift. It's like, this woman cannot be more popular or successful. She's like a one-person Beatlemania.
She is.
And like,
And she's been for a long time.
yeah, it's like,
Not a flash in the pan.
like you don't have to like prop up her success. Like it's very tangible and good for her. Like
Yes,
I
yes.
don't begrudge her 1 ounce of it.
I know.
And it's just funny because like people are like, you need to have respect for and I'm like, my favorite band is the Monkees. So like,
You know all about people shitting on your...
right, like having people shit on your favorite band is just kind of like, oh, that's a whole side hobby of being a Monkees fan. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, get over yourself. You know? But
yeah. But regardless, this is a great album. I think so. I want to say I'm a Swiftie, but like not like I'm like a casual Swiftie.
Right, like there are the quote unquote real Swifties are so into it. You see them and you're like,
Oh,
well,
I'm not that.
I'm not at that. Not like in a bad way, but like I don't want to claim that mantle because like I don't know near as much as these people do.
It's like when Spotify released like how many of your like how much you listen to Taylor Swift because like she was the top artist of the year the last 2 years.
Right.
And like I don't make a cut to even get a mention of that, but I like Taylor Swift and I've listened to Taylor Swift since her first album. I've listened to Taylor Swift longer than some of the people listening to Taylor Swift have been alive. So I'm just saying it's not like it's a fly by night. But do I know the lyrics to every single song that she has ever written or released? No, I do not.
Yeah.
I have my favorites. And yes, I know those.
Yeah.
But no, I cannot claim And especially the new album. I don't have it down. They're wordy songs. Like, especially this new album. It's deep and wordy, and it's good. I like it. But no, I do not have it down.
Yeah.
So don't worry. I'm not teaching any classes anytime soon. It's okay.
I feel like we're safe.
It's definitely safe.
Okay, editor.
Oh, can I just say one more thing? I just wanted to say one more thing. I thought that it is worth noting, though, that people were so upset about this that Robin and Peloton each took down their post about this class. This whole... That's sad to me.
Yeah.
That's sad because the comments were so gross and so over the top that they just took it down. And I know there are people out there that are thinking they're going to get a redo. I think fat chance. I think never going to happen.
Yeah.
Keep on wishing, Swifties. It ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
That's what I think. So
we had some weird tech issues this week.
We did.
The first being that one of Sam Yo's classes
had subtitles to a yoga class. Yeah, they did not go together at all.
Yeah.
I don't know what is going on over at Peloton, but the clip out, the
team?
Tipsters, the team, the tipsters, the helper bees,
the hive.
Yes. That's great. We've all been talking, and someone suggested that we do a new weekly report, and it's just all the fuck ups. It's just an article weekly or a segment on the show weekly where we just talk about all the fuck ups. I think that might be a little much.
Yeah.
But
maybe we could make a montage video.
Hope that person doesn't want to get any shout outs in Robin's classes anytime soon. This is not a good one, though. Like, when you have subtitles from a completely different class, I'll just say the quality checking could use a little redo.
And that's also a problem because there are people who really, really need those subtitles.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is. And, it brings up other problems because sometimes the whole class will be off by a few seconds.
Yeah.
I've noticed that before, mostly on the rower when I first got it, but I've noticed it in other classes since then.
Maybe they're using the same people that Peacock uses.
It could be. But here's the thing. If you are using a Bike Plus, the problem is that it changes the resistance. So if you're sitting there like 55 going real hard and all of a sudden, boom, it drops to 25 and you didn't know.
Right.
That's bad.
That is bad. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
That's going to be a problem.
Yeah. So somebody needs to do some quality checks over there. That's just a PSA from the clip out to Peloton. For God's sakes, before there is a legal issue, would you please get a new quality person on those classes?
Also in the weird tech issues, the output numbers got very, very...
messed up.
Helpful?
Yeah, helpful, but also not, because what a PR you can never, ever have again. Because they started showing in the output, instead of being the output, it started showing the mileage. And so it's like thousands of numbers, when instead of like your output being like 150 or whatever you have in a class, it's like it's a 6-digit number. And
it's a phone number.
It is a phone number. So then you're never going to hit that again. They did fix it pretty quick. As soon as they saw it, they had released a fix for it, and it always takes a while for it to filter out over millions of users. But all in all, it only took a few hours to get that fixed.
Yeah.
And it needed to, because that's a big one.
Yeah,
that's
for
a
sure.
big one. This is not great.
Yeah. There was a time I got a 497,000 output, but just the ones.
Just the ones.
Just the ones.
And there was one other issue that, made the conscious of me this week, and that is that whenever they put out class photos, they always have the name and a picture of the instructor and then the name of the class, and they definitely had a picture of the wrong person on the class. So it's what is going on over there?
Was it Kendall?
It was not. It was not. It was both.
Stephen Little?
It was all instructors who work here.
Okay.
But that's really bad. Somebody is not being I don't know. It means that either somebody is moving too fast, has too much on their plate. It leads to bigger questions.
It makes you wonder if the the layoffs mean that the people that are there are having to do way
work.
more than they're used to, and they're starting to get overwhelmed.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. And so, Peloton, I urge you, this is one area you cannot stop putting resources in.
Yeah.
It will bite you in the ass. Please, for God's sakes,
For sure.
do not. How many are you going for?
I don't know. All of them. The instructors are getting new pictures, 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, it's real. I mean, like every year or so, they do new shots of all of the instructors, and this one's all in gray. So I don't know what they'll do with it, because there's many creative minds that work on these things, but I like to think of where they'll go with it. All of the instructors in gray, it's like headshots, and this is where they do their group shots, and it's basically all the marketing stuff.
Right.
So I'm like, will there be bright colors behind them? Will they do something like really, big
Maybe this
and
will
bold?
be the black and white photo, and they want everything to be super monochromatic.
I don't know. Really curious to see what they do with that, but just a little mention that it's happening.
Yeah. So let's take a quick look at just general smaller things going on around the Peloton neighborhood. Cliff Dwenger has released a gospel song.
Yeah, he has released his first gospel hip hop song titled Work Hard, Pray Hard. And even though he does have a history with hip hop music, he actually was a semi-finalist in Voice of Germany, which I did not know.
I did not know that either.
This is actually the first time he has gone into gospel music. It's really been cool to see how the other instructors have started using this song in their classes.
Yeah.
What a really nice show of support. I really love that. But he's been doing these gospel classes, and I think it's really cool that he's growing this side of himself, but like not just I will play more songs. He's like, I will take it to another level by creating a new song. I just think that's super cool.
It is fascinating. Rad Lopez announces his Nike partnership, which we touched on a little bit last week.
We did, yeah. He is officially there, and I think that's really cool. We talked about that, how excited we are for him, and definitely huge congratulations to Rad.
Susie Chan given an interview on the BBC about her running journey.
She did. I have to give an update, by the way. I am halfway through Susie Chan's book. Anybody out there who's not read this book needs to read this book. Susie has this way of talking and connecting with people when she's running, but she does the same thing in the book. The way she tells stories is like, it's just like you're sitting there having a pint with her. You're just talking, and she's telling these stories about these adventures that she had. I mean, there are times during these races she did not know what she was doing. She almost died, and her now husband almost died. She also tells these stories about like her first husband and like all the stuff that led to her even running in the first place. It is riveting. I love this book so much. I say all that because she does share some of these things when she was talking to BBC. So if reading's not your thing and you still want to know more about Susie, this would be a great way to do it.
Awesome. Robin Arzon has teamed up with Good Morning America for an Everyday Greatness series.
Yes, they will be doing this weekly. They lovingly call each other Robin Squared because it's Robin Roberts and Robin Arzon.
Okay.
And they are going to be calling upon industry leaders, people like Tory Burch, for example, to give tips and tricks to excel in their given field. And Robin last week asked for questions and suggestions about the series on her Instagram account. So you never know if you might have one featured, but congrats to Robin and Robin.
And then finally, Selena Samuela was featured in Golf Digest.
Yes, she was. And she talked about all the work that goes into having proper form and swing. And she also saw this as an opportunity to increase strength and improve in these areas for golfers when she helped Peloton release the new program that they have for strength for golfers.
Awesome. After this, we're going to talk to Dr. Jenn. It's summertime. You're maybe using your Peloton less. Maybe you're not using your Peloton at all and you're feeling bad. She has tips, suggestions on how to manage your guilt/FOMO, so stick around.
Getting the Psychological Edge with Dr. Jenn.
Joining us today via the magic of ZoomTube is Dr. Jenn Mann, licensed marriage, family, and child therapist and sports psychology consultant. You may know her from VH1's Couples Therapy with Dr. Jenn, or VH1's Family Therapy with Dr. Jenn, or her long-running radio show, The Dr. Jenn Show. She's written 4 best-selling books, including Relationship Fix, Dr. Jenn's 6-Step Guide to Improving Communication, Connection, and Intimacy. It's Dr. Jenn. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
She had to mess with her phone while you were doing your introduction, Tom.
Yes.
And I know you couldn't see.
I couldn't see it because I was
he
in a
had
different
the other
tab.
screen.
Yeah.
But watching her face respond to what she thought, it was funny. Okay, I'll jump right into the question. Sorry.
Okay.
All right. So this week we are hearing from Wendy Kisslinger, and she is struggling because it's summer, and during the summer she does a ton of outdoors activities. So she likes to do things like swimming, but she also has a tonal, so she does strength, and she goes to a local yoga studio. So now she's looking around and she's seeing all of her Peloton equipment not getting used, and she's getting a little stressed about it. She says she knows it's not really a problem. But
it's a problem.
But it's a problem. She's tried.
And she's not getting her check mark.
Exactly. She's tried doing things like adding in a row a couple times a week, like a 10-minute row. But she feels like doing something small like that feels pointless, and that maybe she should just embrace the summer. And she knows the moment that it drops below 60, she's going to be back with her equipment. So she just wants to hear your thoughts.
Well, look, she's right. It's not a problem, but it is a problem. And I also think that Peloton is not just about the workout and the check mark, although you all know I love a good check mark.
Absolutely.
I think they're very important for mental health. But I do think that staying connected to the community is actually really important. And when you completely abandon the community and then you come back because it's 60 degrees a few months later, you may feel a little disconnected. You may feel like it just doesn't kind of feel as good. So first of all, I want to say doing 10 minutes of a row 3 times a week is not nothing. That's 30 minutes a week. That's 60 minutes every 2 weeks. That's 120 minutes a month. Like, that adds up. And I think that it's really important to not get into, you know how I feel about this, that all or nothing black and white thinking. It is the enemy of your workout. It's the enemy of your mental health. And it is the enemy of quality, enjoyable workouts, Crystal.
I was about to do the same thing.
Wow.
We were this close to harmonizing.
Yeah. I am a big believer in small goals and adding on to those small goals. And I think that staying connected with Peloton needs to be the goal as opposed to the workout. And you can do that with a meditation. You can do it with a foam roll. You can do it with a stretch class. And I think that part of what you want to also look at is, great, you're doing outdoor walks or runs, you're doing yoga classes in a studio, you're doing all this other stuff. What are the gaps physically and emotionally in your new workout that's more outdoors? So it may be that you're missing some strength training. It may be that you are missing some spin classes. It may be that you are not foam rolling. So like really kind of try to do an objective evaluation in terms of balance of your workout. And again, 10 minutes here and there, 5 minutes here and there, keep you connected to the community. And also they get you your check mark and they make you feel like you are still in the Peloton game. And I think that's actually important.
Yeah.
That is good advice. I feel bad for having kicked her out of the group now.
Don't worry, I let her back in.
Runs, get out of here.
Not good enough. Not good enough for the clip out. Yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, of course, you can do your outdoor runs or walks using the Peloton outdoor app, and then you're getting your checklist, or you can even do the, just walk or just run, and you're getting your check mark and you're staying connected to the community.
The two of you together, that just reminded me that a thing that's come up a lot on my MetPro side of things lately is I have 2 different clients right now that are both rehabbing an injury. Because of that, they are doing pool swimming. And that makes me also think one of my friends, Christina Sandifer, who's been on the show. You know Christina Sandifer because you ran Good Sir with her. But she is recovering from an injury right now and also doing that. So she's been listening to Peloton runs while she does it. So like you could do all of those things that you just suggested and still get a great workout. So yeah. Okay. Yeah. Awesome.
And I really do think that like sometimes just hearing the voice of an instructor who you really like, like how I feel about the meditations. Like, I do a lot of Ross meditations. Don't even get me started about him leaving Peloton. I could cry. I do a lot of Mariana and Anna now also for their meditations. So it's like, it's very grounding. And I think it's important to kind of have that sort of that grounding experience to kind of like, okay, I'm still connected and I'm still hearing those voices and I'm still getting those positive messages. Because to me, Peloton is great, not just because of the amazing workouts, but also the things that the instructors say. It's very inspiring. It's very uplifting. It's very positive. And you don't get that everywhere. You know, we've all been to classes before Peloton where the instructors talking about like changing your body and how imperfect your body is and crap like that. That's just terrible. But the Peloton instructors are always super positive and keeping it upbeat. And I think that's really important.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for all of that wonderful advice, as always. Until next time, where can people find you?
You can find me on all social media at Dr. Jenn Mann, 2 N's on Jenn, 2 N's on Mann.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Instructors in the news.
Surprise, we have another instructor that got married.
Yeah, this was so great. A couple of days ago, Marcel Maurer announced on Instagram that he and his now wife, Ina, had been married in a civil ceremony. And then they did a really cute reel about it. And then they said that they were having a formal church wedding and party slated for the next day. So congratulations to Marcel and Ina.
Christine Dierkelay's Facebook group has renamed itself.
They have, yeah. So people who have been around for a while might know that it used to be called CDE Tribe. And then when Tribe became no longer allowed to be used, then it became CDE something else. CDE Family? CDE Project. Sorry. Okay. And now they have decided to rebrand, and they are going to become the I Will, I Do crew. Apparently, this has been in the works for months. They've been talking about the best way to do this. They want to be in the same, branding that Christine uses, which makes sense. And I think that's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for it, or if it's in your feed and you're like, "How I didn't join this group."
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
It was called something else. So congrats.
Matt Wilpers completed a half Ironman.
He did. Yeah. Very nice to remember that that's a half.
Yes. I didn't remember when I typed it in the show notes, so don't forget to change that.
Okay. This was the Muscleman. I don't think it's Muscleman.
Yeah.
It's like Muscleman.
It looks like it's the name of a place because it's like Mussel.
They all are. All Ironmans are always by the city. So yes, you are absolutely right. Yeah. That is a city. 70.3. And the heat was definitely a factor, he said, and that makes his stomach more sensitive. I'm glad it's not just me.
Yeah.
My stomach was really upset the other day, but he sounds like, oh, I really struggled. And he completed 70 miles of swimming, biking, and running. Mm-hmm. And he did all that in 5 hours and 18 minutes. Just to put that in perspective, when I did my half Ironman relay back in 2018, I did 13.1 miles of running in 3.5 hours.
Well, to put that in perspective, sometimes when the kids won't shut up, it can take me an hour and a half to watch a 30-minute show.
That's true. We've had a lot of days like that lately.
Yes, that's my version of an Ironman.
It's the same output. I
watched a movie, a TV show, and a play all in the same day. Where's my sticker?
You are a movie man. But that's an amazing time for real, especially considering how hot it was. He said it was in the high 80s to the low 90s. He, if you're wondering how he fueled, he had 2 Martine official 160 gels. He also had 3 to 4 salt stick tabs and a lot of water and a lot of ice. He said that the swim was choppy but smooth. Sun was less blinding than last time. On the bike, he had dropped a chain right at the beginning that was tough to dig out, but he got going again. And then he said he started off slow to make sure he didn't overcook himself. I mean, he's just incredible. He really is. So congrats to Matt.
Absolutely. Emma Lovewell filmed an episode of Magnolia Table this week.
Yeah, it's with Joanna Gaines, if people don't know that. And it will be airing this weekend, Sunday at 1 p.m., I assume Eastern.
Gotcha.
And the theme was Asian-inspired flavors, and they cooked things that I cannot pronounce, and I'm not going to try because I always get it wrong. And it's a savory Korean noodle dish, though. And they also did some Japanese dumplings and a comforting egg drop soup. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Congrats to Emma.
Coming up after this, we're going to tell you about the latest artist series and give you some competitors news, so stick around.
Peloton artist collaborations.
The latest artist series features Jack Antonoff, which we've alluded to in past episodes.
We have. And I would like to point out that they did list this as a producer series, which you had thought that they would, given that he produces a lot of different music.
Right.
And if you're wondering who besides Taylor Swift, we have Lorde, Lana Del Rey, Pink, Charlie XCX, and that's just a few of the people that he has. He has 11 Grammy wins on his belt. I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's a lot of Grammys.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So
I think some of it, since he's not an artist, people don't talk about the producer or the Grammys for people who like wrote a song.
Yeah.
Like, it's really focused more on the artist on stage. So
it is. But in this particular one, they're going to have quite a few classes. There's going to be Brace Yourself, a full body strength with Robin. There's going to be, I know.
That's a lot of words to be learning.
I know. A yoga flow with Mariana, a ride with Allie, and there's going to be a run with Camila and a row with Katie. So that's pretty fun.
Checking out the competition.
Ergatta has added coach-led rowing classes.
Yes, and this is interesting for a few reasons. One, don't forget that Peloton has started testing, although we have no idea if that test is over, if it went away.
Yeah.
Because only some people had it. They were testing Ergatta games on the Peloton row.
Yeah.
So that's interesting for that reason.
It is. That got tested, and then we just never heard anything more about it.
Yeah. Now, I will say Peloton was very clear that they were like, it is literally just a test. We have no idea what's going to happen with it. They were very upfront about that.
Right.
Then we also have the fact that Ergatta never had any coach-led classes. It was all things like games. And then add in the fact that when they did add in coach-led rowing classes, they are instructors from City Row.
Boy, that makes me think there was some sort of deal in the works
that went ploop.
That fell apart.
I agree.
And that they were like...
very similar to, I don't know, Lululemon and Peloton?
Yeah. Oh, do we have more lawsuits in our future?
I don't know.
I mean, it's Peloton. We always have more lawsuits in our future.
Fair.
But will we have more lawsuits in our future related to Ergatta?
I don't know, but I agree. I thought that was super interesting.
Whenever I hear Ergatta, I think of the Police.
Why?
Because they have an album called Zindata Mindata. And so I always think of Zindata Ergatta.
Okay.
Or I think of Iron Butterfly.
Okay, that I get. Inagata Davida.
Ergatta Davida.
You are taking it back, Tom. So, yeah, I thought that was super interesting.
Very much so.
New content.
Before Crystal forgets again, like she did at the top of the show.
I reminded you.
Well, there's just no proof of that.
The editors know.
Do they?
Uh-huh.
Or is that just a claim you like to make because you know they can't chime in? Yeah, I see how it is.
They know. Mm-hmm. They know.
So anyway, before Crystal forgets again, let's do our bingo call out.
All right. Bingo number 2 this week is Hannah Corbin.
Okay. So it's the part of the show where we talk about the TCO top 5, and I try to come up with a clear, concise way to say it and always fail. So we ask you what you liked, and then we tell you what you said.
Very nice, Tom. Very nice.
But we also tell it to other people. Because if we just told you, you'd be like, yeah, I know this. I already said it.
Oh, geez. Okay. Well, keep working at it.
Okay. Number 1, favorite ride.
Okay. Favorite ride was a low-impact ride with Christine D'Ercole. This was on the 15th of July, so it was this week. And Deborah Anzalone, who I have to say, she is my Peloton anniversary. She's my Peloversary buddy. We got our bikes on the same day.
Really?
We
That's
did.
Funny.
We did. July 15th. We interviewed her a long time ago. Spoga Deb, if that reminds you of anything. And we interviewed her, and that's how we learned that we were Peloversary buddies.
Gotcha.
So she had her 4,700th ride, and she got a shout out from Christine. So that is why this is her favorite. I don't blame her.
Yeah.
And so happy Peloversary to Deb, and take this class because it's got some great music. The Smiths, Judah and the Lion, Snow Patrol, and The Cure.
Okay. Number 2, favorite yin yoga.
Okay, this one was taught by Chelsea, and it was a 20-minute yin yoga from June 12th. And Amy Miller Sams recommends this class. She says, I really enjoyed the yin yoga I did yesterday. I'm getting in the habit of adding yin after my stack before I transition to the rest of my day. That's awesome. This particular class had 10 yin movements, just so you know.
10 yen.
10 yen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 3, favorite stretch.
Okay, so this stretch was taught by Logan Aldridge, and it was taught on June 3rd. It was a full body stretch, 20 minutes, and Tiffany Cortez nominated this stretch. She said that it's 20-minute full body stretch was like a yin yoga class, and we held each position for 3 minutes to relaxing music.
That sounds awful.
And the last minute, we laid on our stomach to rest. It was very meditative and grounding, and it felt great after a tough strength class with Rebecca.
I could do that last part. Not to brag.
You can lay on your tummy.
Yes. Number 4, favorite yoga flow. Chelsea Jackson Roberts with her second appearance
in 1 week.
In the TCO top 5 in 1 week.
Nice. Yes, this class was taught by Chelsea on July 8th. It was a 20-minute 2000s yoga flow. And meme to 10, hashtag meme to 10, because that's her leaderboard name. She said this class was perfection. It had great music, an awesome flow of basic poses, a relaxing savasana, definitely one to be on repeat. She even gave it the chef's kiss emoji twice.
Okay. Finally, number 5, your unstackable.
This is a bike boot camp. Okay, taught by Jess Sims, a 60-minute, and it was, Sim 60, because we rebranded, remember?
Right.
And this was taught on July 9th. Chelsea Schroeder nominated this class, saying she loved the cardio and strength mix in a long bike boot camp. This one includes a Flash 15 style 12-minute EMOM in the middle, and those devil presses lived up to their name. I hate EMOMs and AMRAPs. I hate them so much, but they're so effective. That's a great workout. Good call, Chelsea. That is unstackable.
And now a look at this week at Peloton. So coming up, or maybe it's already happened because sometimes that's how these things work. Get race ready with Christian.
Yeah, this is going to be really cool. So Christian Van de Velde, everybody knows, is a pro cyclist, and he is going to be doing a 45-minute race simulation.
Okay.
So you're going to feel like you're actually racing because of the way he's going to take
Because I'll
you.
lose? That's what happens when I actually race.
It's going to be on demand starting July 15th, so it's already out there. So definitely hydrate and fuel up.
Summer celebration.
This is fun. So this is going to be outdoor walks and runs with new classes that dropped on the 18th. And they on the 18th at I think it was 12 a.m. Eastern, but 5 a.m. British Standard Time. And you can enjoy the fresh air and take in the sights while you stay active.
Okay. We have a new wave flow with Kira.
Yes. So more of the yoga, and this is going to be a 30-minute class, and so you're going to have all of the new wave. So I'm really curious to see what ended up on the playlist. But new wave is usually Christine's.
I know that's a Christine thing.
That is a Christine thing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There's going to be some awkward moments in the break room.
I don't know that that's true, because here's the cool part. Christine doesn't teach yoga. So it's kind of nice to bring that vibe over to the yoga. I think she would embrace and be happy about that.
Okay.
I think she would celebrate that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cradle Your Core with Emma Lovewell.
Yeah, this is weird because when Peloton put out this week at Peloton, they did not include Cradle Your Core. So I might have this listed elsewhere on the list.
You do. I figured we'd skip it.
Yeah, that's a good call. But okay, so everybody remembers Crush Your Core from Emma Lovewell. There were two of them, two programs, highly successful. The first program to ever hit 1 million people took it.
Okay.
That was the very first class. It was huge.
Yeah.
And this is Cradle Your Core. So it is a bunch of different classes that are safe and effective for you to be able to take while you're pregnant. So those are all dropped on the 15th as well. And you're going to be able to build strength, flexibility, and confidence.
And then finally, Pilates with equipment.
Yes. Aditi and Anna are going to be teaching these classes. It's a brand new collection that started this week on Wednesday. And I am super excited about these because you've got the ball and you've got the little band circle thing. So going to be all kinds of cool stuff in these. We
should also talk about real quick that Pace Target classes are available on the tread. But you said there's lots of
Okay, so they had already been on they had created a collection for the Pace Target classes on the tread. But what I found interesting was that now when you're going through the list of classes on the tread, if you're looking for more Pace Target classes, you don't have to go into the collection. They now say it in the bottom right-hand corner of classes that already have the metrics built in. They've already done all the programming for it. So they've dropped several of these, and so the collection is a lot bigger. They're still putting them in the collection, but you don't have to drill all the way down. However, if you're outdoors, like I take my classes a lot of times, you don't see them because you can't take the Pace Target classes outside.
Right.
You can only take them inside. So I was excited to learn this because it made me more aware of that, and I don't want to accidentally take a class that is Pace Target outside because I want to save that for inside, but I can't see that it says Pace Target unless I'm inside. So I have to be careful.
Gotcha. The Road to Half Marathon class is now available in German.
Yeah, this is great because we've had this program out for a little bit now. I know it's been at least a month, but now you can take the entire program in German. So if for those people who only take German classes, this is awesome to be able to have that option.
Well, I'm not sure how many people who only take German classes are listening to our English language podcast.
That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
We also have new strength content coming.
We do, yeah. So a new 3-day split is coming. That I think we mentioned briefly last week that Rebecca was going to be putting that out. But also, Jocelyn Thompson-Rules is joining the strength team, and she's going to have 10-minute classes that are going to be out as well. They're all going to be like Strength Basics collection. So congrats to both of those ladies.
In case you missed it.
Well, we have more German information for our German listener. Peloton put out a German Peloton highlights.
Yeah, they do this every week. And so I'm trying to find where it says translate, and I'm not seeing the option. So if you're wondering why I have not answered you, Tom, that is why. I'm trying to find, because I don't know what all these words mean. I know they're the summer break workouts. There's more Glorious Gospel class coming from Cliff, and then there are foam rolling classes coming with Mila, and I know because I remember
this
seeing
week's guest. She's teaching foam rolling classes because she takes all the foam rolling.
We don't have a guest this week named Mila.
No, I meant that our guest would be teaching the foam rolling class.
Okay, I got it now.
She got promoted.
She got promoted to teacher.
Yes.
Wow, and she can speak German.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Nico is also going to be teaching some new foam rolling classes. And then I don't know exactly what this stands for, but I know that it is a Ricky Martin class and a Dolly Parton class that is going to be taught by Mela. And those classes are going to be on July 14th and July 21.
And we had some apparel drops. So the first with Allie Love, or spotlighting Allie Love.
Yeah. So this was last week. Peloton did their little logo that was like a pixelated heart, and apparently that is Allie Love's logo because that's what they came up with.
Okay.
So all of her clothes, she has men's and women's clothes that they did, and they all have. I shouldn't say all. Most of them have little hearts on them. They look like from far away. They actually look like dots. Like it looks like a polka dot outfit.
Oh, okay.
But they're not. They're little hearts. And there's a variety of colors and styles. So there's navy blue, kind of a peach color, and then there's some green, like a forest green. And then for the menswear, there's also the forest green and the blue. And then there was just kind of, I felt like it didn't really mix in with everything else very well, but a lot of the instructors really liked it. There's a crochet tank and pants, and since they're crochet, they're kind of see-through, so you have to wear stuff underneath them. But particularly Emma Lovewell absolutely adored them. Like she was really happy about that. So lots of stuff dropping.
And we also have seamless clothes.
Yeah, which I think they're like most of the Cadence stuff is the seamless, but there's some new colors that just dropped as well. So
go get them.
Go get them.
Coming up after this, we have our interview of the week. It's Kim Griffin. She's going to tell you all about the Disney runs that she does.
And her foam rolling classes.
And her love of foam rolling. And it's entirely in German. Don't worry, it's not really.
Checking in with the Peloton community.
Joining us today via the magic of a ZoomTube is Kim Griffin. Hey, Kim, how's it going?
Hi, thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
We are so excited to have you here. You know, I always start these interviews and I like to start with kind of going back in time and how you originally heard about Peloton and decided, okay, this is something I have to have.
Yeah, so I was a runner since 2015, was big in the Orange Theory space. I don't know if it's allowed to say other things or not, but that other workout thing for a while. And then 2020 happened and I lost a lot of the community that I had with my running group, then doing group fitness classes. And I started noticing all of these people posting about their PRs and their group rides that they were doing. And I realized I'm missing out on something. So I started getting into Peloton, first just doing like the app itself, just doing the strength classes or walks and things like that. And then decided that once I saw people doing Disney rides, that I needed the bike as well. And no access to a gym, and my condo at the time was real small, so a treadmill wasn't going to fit. So I decided to get the bike and kind of haven't looked back since.
That's fantastic. So you have the bike and you started with a variety of different classes. Are you mostly bike classes now? Or are you mostly outdoor class? Like, how do you balance it all out?
Yeah, I use Peloton really as a great tool for running. So I'm a distance runner. I love running marathons and half marathons. So the Peloton really, or the app and the bike have really become a way to supplement all of my running training. So I do a lot of the strength classes. I try to do the bike once or twice a week just to change it up. And then I also have gotten really into like the stretching and foam rolling classes because my coach has told me that you need to do that, I guess. Runners are not good at stretching. You
do. And just from my past experience as well, runners are also not great about doing strength training. So it's awesome that you're doing strength training.
Exactly.
Okay, but didn't you tell me that you have like a goal to like take all of the foam rolling classes? I want to know how this came to be.
It's a very unique goal.
It is, yeah. I've never heard that one.
Has anyone done it? Am I going to like get a Peloton world record of finishing?
You might get a badge that nobody even knows exists.
Yeah, right? It's just like it's a secret hidden badge no one knows about.
Hannah and Rebecca cannot put them out fast enough for me to like keep taking them, so I have to redo them. No, I work with a running coach, and she really wanted me to start to focus on making sure that I'm recovering. Just like the cardio stuff is great, the strength training is great, but you like to your body too. So I started to do that and then realized I actually really like those classes. And then I was like, I'm getting through them. I've gone through like the German variation now. So I think there's like only like 3 or 4 left that I still have to hit. So should be soon.
That's awesome. That's a great thing.
I feel like the German variation, the foam is like a giant pretzel.
Is that what?
Yeah. It's like a giant Bavarian pretzel.
I mean, that would be great. That would be
delicious.
fantastic. Yes, absolutely.
I feel like sometimes you get into like a pretzel position. So it counts the same.
Yeah, some of those
I would have thought my Duolingo would have helped with that, but it has not. I'm like, I get like every 5th word. I'm like, I know what that was in German. So.
We had a guest on that talked about what they do is they take all the different classes in German or in Spanish and all the different stuff. And what they do is they put it into Google Translate while they're taking the class so they can understand what's being said. So that might be a good tip for you to try. I don't know, but now are you going to like treat yourself? Is there some thing that's going to happen when you take all of the foam rolling classes?
I feel like I need some sort of celebration.
I think so. Like that feels like you need to mark the occasion, you know?
Right. Or like glitter my foam roller or something.
Yeah.
Like some confetti come out of it. You make it happen.
You would be covered in glitter, though, in all subsequent foam rolling sessions.
That is true. That's
fine. I see nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that as well.
Yeah.
So did you add in the strength training on your own, or was that something that like your personal trainer was like, you have to have a mix of the strength with the running or the cycling?
Yeah, I've gotten injured like early in my running career, and I think that was the thing that came through with like physical therapy. Like, why aren't you doing more squats? Why aren't you doing lunges? Like, you have to build up all of the muscles that also support you beyond just the muscles you use to run. So I struggled with doing it, but then getting into Peloton, I think really helps because the classes are easy to follow along. You get working with instructors that you like, and it's kind of like, I'm still with people that are doing it. I started with Maddie does like a beginner strength program, and I started with that because then it put me on a schedule and just kind of helped me build the routine.
Plus, Maddie's just adorable and wonderful.
Yeah, I love Maddie. Exactly.
So have there been any moments in your everyday life where you've just really noticed the benefit of having been doing the strength classes?
Yeah, I feel like, I just feel better about myself, right? Like I feel like I have a little bit more energy sometimes, and I tend to work out more in the evening, but when I can do it in the morning, like I feel like I'm Superwoman for like the rest of that day. But I think there is just a level of like, I can lift grocery bags a little bit more. I can carry 4 up the stairs versus just 2. And anything I can do to not take as many stairs, I will always do. So I feel like it's a long-term thing. And I have a friend who always says that we do strength training because we want to be able to sit and get up off of the toilet when we're 90. So I'm like, if that's what I have to tell myself, like, if you're going to be a strong 90-year-old woman, then like, I'm all for that now.
Yes.
It's funny. I have to tell this story.
Okay.
So we were watching we always have a classic.
Yeah, you need to explain the rest.
We always have a classic sitcom in our rotation of TV that we watch, right?
Yes.
So like we recently finished Barney Miller, and then we would roll into the next thing. We've done MASH and
we've done some not so great
the
shows.
Bob Newhart show. That's great.
That is a great show. It's not one of the not so greats.
But so we're currently doing. I shouldn't say doing.
We are watching.
We are currently watching the Golden Girls. I'm not doing the Golden Girls, although they are, I guess, roughly the same age as I am now. But they're dead, so that would be weird. But so the episode, I tell you all that to tell you this. The episode that we watched today was about them getting a new toilet, right?
Yeah.
And the toilet that they show them carrying in was one of those like
literally the name was Low Boy. And we were like,
one
what
of
is
those ones that sits really low. And
what
we're
is a
like,
house full of elderly ladies going to do with the low toilet?
No, you need the high toilet now.
Like, we're already thinking ahead about
Yes.
this. Why are they not thinking ahead about it?
Betty White did her squat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I guess it's just a kind of it's an old lady flex. I get a low boy toilet. I need the high toilet.
There is a crazy statistic out there, though, that's like most women cannot lift, like elderly women. And when I say elderly, I think they marked it as like above the age of 65. That was their denotation, but cannot lift like 10 pounds over their head. And that is just crazy to me because it's not very much weight. That's not very much at all.
Yeah.
And
if you've ever been on an airplane, you know it's true.
I do.
And you know the age
it's
is
true.
a lot younger.
When it comes to strength training, it's like the upper body strength. And you know what? It's all the things that I should be doing that I hate doing. Those lunges you talked about, I hate them. I hate them so much. Squatting,
Yeah.
hate those too. And any overhead lifts, I hate them. I like curse them the entire time I'm doing them. But they are so necessary. So
I'll get you one of them low boy toilets.
you can help me out, Tom.
And you'll be doing squats like 4 times a day. Minimum.
Get one of those little seats to add on top of it.
Like I
See
have
the
when we go to
armrest
Denny's.
next to it.
Exactly. Oh, well, sorry. We kind of went off on a little tangent there. That's what we do.
I love it. I brought up toilet, so it's my fault.
Longtime listeners should know that if someone brings up toilets and the worst thing I do is talk about the Golden Girls,
Consider that a win also.
you got off easy.
Right.
Yeah. Although I guess I did briefly touch on necrophilia.
You did.
So
you
that's,
did.
yeah.
Way to bring it back and make sure everyone heard it and
No
caught
problem.
it.
No problem. That's literally what I'm here for.
It is. That's
Yeah.
true. Okay. So now, have you ever been to the studio or anything like that?
I haven't. I've done a couple work trips to New York, and I just stalked the website hoping to be able to get in, but I haven't been able to get in yet.
Okay.
One of these trips, though, I'd love to be able to go. And
Totally.
if Hannah ever does a foam rolling class there, maybe that should be like my prize. Like
That
the
should
only
be.
weird girl who did all the foam rolling. Let her go to a class.
You should reach out to Hannah Marie Corbin and tell her that you've taken all of them and ask her to be her guest the next time you're in New York.
Well, and honestly, people, when they go to the studio, it's the bike rides that they want.
Yep.
Like if somebody ended up in a foam rolling class, they'd be like, oh, I guess I couldn't get a bike. So
Well, those tend to not be live. They usually
Yeah,
record those.
that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's going to be tough for
feel
her to
like
get in.
nobody actually, besides them, wants to be seen on film doing any of those foam rolling exercises anyway.
fair.
So.
That's fair.
fair.
That's fair. Like, I don't think our bodies are meant to be viewed from those angles unless you
no.
look like Hannah Corbin, and I don't.
There-
So
yeah, exactly.
that's a good
well,
point.
honey, I disagree.
Aw, that's so sweet. Thank you. So now, okay, so that might be a thing that you'll do in the future. What about, have you been to any local Peloton meetups or met people, Pelotoners in the wild?
I haven't seen much around here that we've had. I do a lot of group rides with friends and connecting that way or through leaderboard handles and groups, but I haven't done anything live or in person. So.
Okay. What about how you pick rides or pick classes? Do you pick by, except for the foam rolling, because with those you just pick all of them?
Yeah.
Do you pick by instructor? Do you pick by music? Do you pick by theme? Or do you have a whole different way that you go about it?
Typically, I usually go by music. I enjoy anything that is Disney or in the Broadway category mostly. And I'm glad that it's just me and my cats in the house because I don't think anyone else would appreciate the show that I like to put on when I'm on my bike singing whatever Broadway. I love the Styx ride or, something that's just down there involved with that. I love Maddie. I find I like to do a lot of outdoor walks with Maddie. So I just feel like I can have conversation. I'm part of a conversation with him and he just his evening stretches too are just always something that I feel like I feel like we could be best friends, Maddie. If you need another best friend, you can call me. I'm here. So, but the bike I tend to do mostly Disney or Broadway rides.
Are there enough that keeps you busy? I haven't really ever added them up that way.
Yeah, I'll do pop rides and stuff as well, but They have, over the past like year or so, I feel like added a ton of Disney. I think it was Emma Lovewell did the first Disney ride like back in 2020 or 2021. And like, it was the only one. So my sisters and I would do it like every couple of weeks just to get our little fix. But then like all of a sudden, like all of these other instructors started putting it on Disney rides, and like Cody is like a huge Disney adult. So like I like to do his Disney rides because he'll like take you through all the park and stuff. But yeah, I'm a weird Disney person. So
first off, there is nothing weird about being a Disney person.
Yeah.
I mean, there are weird Disney people, but it's not.
You are not necessarily weird because you like Disney.
So do you go to the parks a lot? We are Disney nerds. We're DVC members. Like we dig it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I go usually 4 times a year I do all the Disney races. So that's like my big thing. But so as many times as those race weekends are, I usually am there for them.
Those are hard to get into. And you're always getting into now.
This is the same person who can't get into class in the city. Wait a second. I cannot get into the Disney races for anything. I get into classes. Yeah. Now what is happening? I don't understand.
We'll have to like trade like lucky like pixie dust of our getting into classes or races.
So is that like, I would think it would be hard to enjoy the park while you're there knowing you've got this big run in front of you.
Yeah, it is a different trip experience. Like I'm usually in bed by like 7:00 every night at the latest. And like we enjoy, like I have an annual pass, so I don't feel the pressure to like go to the parks. But anyone going for their first time, I'm like, don't go do a Disney race and expect to be able to like see it and do everything. You have to kind of pick what your enjoyment is. And for me, I love the races, like running through the park, seeing all the characters, and like that to me is like what I like love the most about it. And so I'm okay with not going and riding every ride or seeing the fireworks or whatever to be able to enjoy the race mornings. So
it's nice when you can go frequently. Right, like when we go, and we go like every couple years, but we've been a bunch at this point, and having a DVC thing, like we know we'll be back. So it is nice to go and not feel the same level of pressure about I've got to wring every minute out of these parks because I don't know when I'll be back, and it's a fortune.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's. I can only imagine the amount of pressure you can take off yourself by having the annual pass and going for sure 4 times a year. So I know there's the big race, the Dopey Challenge, and then that has the different breakdown of all the different races that weekend. But then there's the Princess race, and then what are the other 2 you do?
So in springtime, the April timeframe, they'd call it the Springtime Challenge, which is a 5K, 10K, and 10 miler. And then in November is Wine and Dine. So that's a 5K, 10K, and half. And that has like an after party after the night of the half. So everyone kind of stays in Epcot. And if you run the race, you get a ticket into the park for the evening for Epcot. So that's a good deal. And then they added back in Disneyland. So a bunch of us this past year we did Dopey, and we called it Dopey to Dumbo. So we left Disney World and flew to Disneyland, and then did the 5K, 10K, and half there.
That's awesome.
I don't think a lot of us wanted to do that again.
That's a lot of running.
It was amazing. Yes. Amazing, but very tired by the time I got home.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long flight, too.
That is a long flight.
Was it like 8 hours?
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
God, that whole week you probably ran like 100 miles in a week or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was like 70-something, 77 maybe.
That's incredible.
I'm not good at math.
Plus, however many steps you get
That's
in.
Why I put it on you.
Yeah.
Plus, however many steps you get in just the regular walking of the park.
That's so true.
That's a lot, too.
Although I'm thinking that week she didn't do that. I don't know.
Yeah, we did a little. We did rent a cabana, so that's become our new thing to like go to the water park. A big group of us all chip in and get a cabana and just sit around and like you can go in the lazy river and like take it a little bit easier. Although this year in January it was like 50 degrees, so we just sat in there in sweatshirts and sweatpants. So that's fine.
And it was still the water park was still open?
Yeah, there was literally, like, you would have thought we, like, rented it out for ourselves, because I think there was, like, 30 people there. And then you've got the brave kids who are like, I'm still going down the water slide. And, like, we're like, no, we're just going to sit here and enjoy.
Those are all the people who are visiting from Alaska.
Yeah, they were like,
Yeah, exactly.
This is fine. I don't know what the problem is. We've never done the water park.
We never have.
No.
Yeah, never have. Is it worth doing compared to the rest of the parks?
I think it's worth it if you've got the time. Like, if I only had 1 or 2 days, I don't know that I would pick that, but it's definitely like, it wasn't crowded the 2 times we did it this year. And so that was nice to just feel like it was a little bit less chaos than some of the other parks can be sometimes.
It can be chaos.
It can. Yes, it can. Yeah. Okay, so sorry, I'll get back to Peloton. I know you love Maddie, and it sounds like you take classes with lots of people, but who do you consider your favorite instructor?
I think it's probably Maddie.
Okay.
Like, he was my first, so I feel like I tend to go back. I do love Bex as well, so like I'll put on a Bex, even if it's a treadmill run, like while I'm outside doing a run. And she was on another podcast and was talking about a race that she did and was saying how, like, she had a fear of being defeated, and she just told herself, like, look down at your feet. There's defeat. Now keep going. And I'm like, now I remind myself when, like, runs get hard, I'm like, there's your feet. Just go. So, like, I feel like she's always got really good inspirational, like, stories and things to focus on. So I'll put her in my ears every once in a while when I'm out there for a long run.
Yeah, that's a good one. I feel like Maddie doesn't do enough runs. Like, I wish I saw a lot more runs from Maddie, because I feel like he's just a phenomenal coach, and the way he just talks, you forget you're running. Like, you just forget.
Yes.
And that's wonderful for me. That's exactly what I need.
Yeah. No, same. I'm like, I just put on, like, sometimes I'll even just put on a walk. I'm like, I don't need the, like, direction of it. I know what the workout I'm doing is. I don't have a treadmill, so I don't really like the treadmill. Their workouts make me survive when I have to do the treadmill, though, so that helps. But, like, I prefer to run outside. But just the listening and having that conversation and that guidance of, positive advice really helps.
It does.
What is your leaderboard name?
It is Kim Runs the World.
More like Kim runs the Disney World.
Exactly. Well, so I've run around the world. I just did a 5K in London recently and did the Berlin Marathon. So, but it is like a play on the Disney. But.
That's great. That's great.
So do you have any advice for people just entering the world of Peloton?
I think the one thing I would say is there is so much out there and so much goodness, but start small. So don't feel like when I got my bike for the first time, I tried to ride every single day, and my butt was like, stop riding every single day. Like, it takes a little while to get used to those little seats, but there's a lot of great beginner classes. Plug into some of those, get really familiar with the form of things, how to use the equipment, and start small. You'll build up and take on those really big classes before you know it. And try all the instructors. Like, I think that's the thing too. Like, I get stuck with the few that I use, but then I really try to branch out and try somebody else every once in a while too, to make sure that equal love for all.
That's great advice.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us. Before we let you go, let everybody know where they can find you in all the places if you would like to be found.
Sure. So you can find me on Instagram as Kimmy Runs the World. And my sisters and I document our training over on YouTube at Sisters Run the World. So if you want to see Disney races, or you're training for a fall marathon, or any of the dopey variations, we will be training along over there as well.
That's wonderful.
And then
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
The Clip Out.
So that brings this episode to a close. Until next week, where can people find you?
People can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Crystal D. O'Keefe. They can find me on social media and the Peloton leaderboard at Clip Out Crystal.
And you can find me on Twitter at Roger Kubert, or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online at facebook.com/The Clip Out. While you're there, like the page, join the group. Don't forget our Patreon, where for $5 a month, you get all sorts of bonus content. Mm-hmm. You get ad-free episodes. Mm-hmm. You get them early. Mm-hmm. And we like you a little extra.
A little bit.
So This week we're going to be talking about Kendall and throwing shade at Peloton.
Yep.
So come on in. The water's fine. So thanks for listening. Until next time, keep pedaling
And running.
and rowing.
Bye.
Quit